Ṣílẹ̀kùn ayọ̀ mi o, bàbá ṣílẹ̀kùn ayọ̀ mi. Ìbànújẹ́ o, jẹ́ kó jìnnà sílé mi. Wàá múnú mi dùn, bàbá onílé ayọ̀. Ọ̀rọ̀ ayọ̀ mi, má jẹ́ kó pa mí lẹ́kún. Ṣílẹ̀kùn ayọ̀ mi o, bàbá ṣílẹ̀kùn ayọ̀ mi. Ìbànújẹ́ o, jẹ́ kó jìnnà sílé mi. Wàá múnú mi dùn, bàbá onílé ayọ̀. Ọ̀rọ̀ ayọ̀ mi, má jẹ́ kó pa mí lẹ́kún. Good morning and welcome to Authentic Conversations with Moji. This is Moji Solo Wilson and the show is Authentic Conversations. And as we wait for people to join us, I'm just going to do some things. I had technical difficulties before, so I had to jump off. Today we're talking about the power of no. The conversation today is about the power of no. For me, it's taking me so long. I've taken the same class over and over again for so many years. And what I realized is that because I did not honor Moji, I did not love Moji, I did not appreciate Moji, I realized that I personally have not honored myself. And because I did not honor myself, a lot of the things that happens to me, I am in control of. For instance, this morning I woke up a bit funky. I wasn't sure I wanted to do the show. I wasn't feeling well. I was actually feeling a bit crappy, but I said, okay, let's do it. And if I had just said no, if I had just said no, everything would have been fine. But I didn't. I came on the show and I was flashing and all kinds of madness. But anyways, we're here now. And if you would like to join the show, what I have that happens to me. If you'd like to join the show, today's one of those days. One of the things that I've done today is fight through issues, right? Technical difficulties, the Wi-Fi wasn't going well, and personally I was flashing. You're thinking, what's flashing? Well, I'm an older woman, I'm going through menopause, so I'm flashing. Sweating like a pig and all that. But bottom line is that, and then the Wi-Fi just shut itself off. But I'm back. So today I decided we should talk about the power of no. And if you would like to join me on the show, please do me a favor. I'm posting the link. I hate talking to myself. I am in control of. It probably means it's probably old age or something like that. And here we are. And I'm still struggling because technically I'm not, endowed or empowered, I should say. So what I have done today is bring this to you guys again. Please join the show and have the conversation with me because I learn from you guys as you hopefully learn from me. It's not easy doing a show by myself. It's kind of fun, but I don't enjoy talking to myself anymore. So please do. Can you turn that volume down, Femi? Please do join me. Femi has decided to be my assistant, my PA on the shows, which is very exciting. And we're here to learn from each other, like I said, so please do join me. But today the topic is the power of no. Why am I having the conversation? It's a struggle I have had for many, many years, being raised into a Nigerian family, being born into a Nigerian family, and not understanding the power of no. It's so funny. Europe, white people are so quick to say no. If they don't want to do something, they say no. Americans don't have a problem saying no, but we do. We always have a problem saying no. I don't understand why, but I know for a fact that in the Black communities, we have this thing called the Black tax, which means that if you made it out of the hood, out of Africa, out of wherever, you are expected, and I mean expected, to take care of the rest of the community. You are expected to be the one that takes care of everybody and everyone and everything. So Wale, please come on, hit the invitation that I posted on there. If you want to join the show, just please come on in. You know, the StreamYard thing is there. So let's talk about the power of no. For a lot of us Black people and African people in general, especially those of us that are from Africa, saying no is something that we have a hard time with, right? We are unable to say no. I don't know why. It doesn't sit well. I had to go to therapy just to be able to say no. And I've been practicing the power of saying no. In the past, people will call me up and tell me, oh, Moji, my head hurts and that, and I feel like it's my problem. I have to take care of everybody. I must make sure that everybody's okay. I must do this. And they're not asking of me, really. They're not asking me to do anything for them. I'm just the one jumping on it. And because I feel it's my obligation, because most Africans are raised on this notion that we are responsible for everybody else. Problem is, because of the giving that we've been doing for many, many years, we have created a nation of beggars. We have created a nation of people that continuously beg and not do for themselves. I am so guilty of enabling people. I have enabled so many people, my family members, my relationship, friendships, loveships, childships. I have not made people accountable for their choices in life. And one other thing that I learned, right, is the fact that wherever I go, whatever I do, I, Moji, have the control. I have the choice to say no. We treat people, we teach people how we want to be treated. We teach people how to treat us. We teach people how to respect us. Because if I respect myself and I carry myself with an air of respect and I love myself enough not to make myself your doormat, then you have no reason to wipe your feet on me. Great example. I'll tell you a short story. For about 3 or 4 years, I've been engaging with people on social, actually 10 years, I've been engaging with people on social media. I've been helping them pay their rent, pay their bills, do this and do that. I've been spending my valuable time counseling people for free on social media. So when people disrespect me, I get really upset. Oh my God, I'm such a nice person. Why does this happen to me? It's not because I'm not a nice person. It's because I'm suffering from what I consider to be stupiditis. Stupiditis is that illness that makes you believe that if you give everything to other people, then you are worthy, or they will like you, or you're a superhero, or because people say, thank you, Auntie Moji, you are the best. They really mean that. I have learned along my ways that people will say anything to get anything from you. They will say anything to 419 you emotionally, financially, and mentally. See, we always think when somebody 419s you or me, it's just money. It's not money. Money you make and money you lose money, you make money again. I've done it. I'm a great proof that you can fall financially and make money again. See, it's not the money that's the most expensive thing that we lose when we do not learn to say to use the power of no. We must understand that we lose time. We lose valuable time that we cannot get back. We lose mental space that we cannot replace. Now we are carrying a luggage of hate, animosity, resentment around, and it blinds us from seeing true, kind, compassionate, empathetic people around us. See, for a very long time, I watched my father give to everybody around him. I watched my father spend his money on people that are not worthy. I watched my father try to save the world. In turn, he died too early. He died too early because he did not have the time to nurture himself mentally, emotionally, and financially. See, I had a friend, a Facebook friend, that's he does cards and flyers and things like that, and I would help him out and give him jobs. My son can make a movie, yes, but I give the job to this gentleman because he's in Nigeria. Nigeria is hard, right? So I sent him a clip yesterday, 6-minute clip, and I wanted him to take my song Shilekwayomi off, which is less than a minute. This is a person that called me a few weeks ago and says, "Oh, can I please give you? Can you please help me?" And I sent him a couple of dollars. Not asking, I just said, you got to pay it back. You got to do the work and because I don't believe in enabling people anymore. I believe in empowering people, which means I believe that if we teach somebody to fish, they will forever be able to feed themselves and hopefully teach somebody else. Right? So I did that. And then I sent him this clip yesterday thinking he was going to send me a bill for like 5,000 and I would send him 10,000 naira, whatever the case may be, right? He sent me a bill for 42,000 naira. 42,000 naira is 90 something dollars for 5 seconds worth, literally 5 seconds worth of work. I have an iPhone. I can do the same thing off my iPhone. I just upgraded my iPhone. Part of my loving myself journey, right? The power of no. Because I am now able to say no to people. I went from using my iPhone 9, which I have, my iPhone 6, sorry, which I had been using for, God knows, iPhone 6 was a million years ago. About maybe 7 years ago, 5, 6 years ago, iPhone 6 came out. I've been using that same iPhone 6. The people I'm sending money to in Nigeria are using iPhone 12. So once I decide to say no to Yashukra that calls me and says, "Hey, can I have money? I have to pay my son's school fees. I'm only making 50,000 a year." And now instead of saying, "Hey, take the money and run," and then next year they come back to Moji to pay the same tuition, like I was the one that was there with them making the baby. The last time I said to the person, I said, "Honey, if you can afford to put your child in a school that's 500,000 naira, how about we go and search for a very good school that maybe is 100,000 that you can afford, because you only make 50,000 a year and you're a single parent. Your child shouldn't really be in a school like this. Maybe what you want to do is teach your child at home, spend more time at home teaching them and sending them to a decent school that you can afford." I now have an iPhone 12. Yep. Sorry, I always put stickers so I can remind me notes. I have an iPhone 12. Because everybody around me, all my friends have iPhone whatever, 12s and whatever for a long time. And I didn't because I'm too busy giving everybody everything. Now, this same guy that I've been sacrificing for, so he can stay in business, wanted to charge me 42,000 naira to do something I can do on my phone, because I chose, keyword, Moji, my fault. Instead of doing it myself and saving my money, hi Johnny, chose to help him. Nobody asked me. The power of no. Power of no. There's a link on the thread. Please click on this link up here on the very top. If you want to come into the show and contribute to the conversation, please do. While you guys are doing that, let me do what I do so my wife that created the banner does not get upset. Sit tight, we'll be back. The conversation today is the power of no, right? The conversation today is the power of no. So if you have a story to share, if you'd like to give us insights, please click on the link on above, the comment that I made that says HBTTT, whatever, StreamYard, so you can come in. In the meantime, let me put this on so my wife does not get upset. She created it for me. Welcome back, and thank you so much for hanging in there. Do me a favor and share the video. If you do not follow if you're on YouTube and you don't follow me, please follow me. If you're on Facebook, please share the video for me. And definitely, I ask you, share the video, follow and like the page. I would really appreciate it. I'm on something called a shadow block now, where because I said something controversial, Facebook did not block me. What they did was stopped a lot of my friends from seeing, for my followers, from seeing my links, because I did a video a few days ago where I told Nigerian, non-LGBTQ Nigerians that we're all going to be suffering together until they change. They help us with the movement. Anyways, so welcome back. And Jay, please come in. I would love one of you guys to come in and just share your stories and give us inputs and nuggets about building that strong muscle to be able to say no. Say no to the things that don't matter, or the things that do not bring value into our lives, or things that we see is not going to result into improvement in people's lives. Allows us the space to be able to say yes to the things that brings value to us. It gives us room to spend more time with our family. It gives us space to be able to communicate better with ourselves. See, but the thing is, I always ask myself, right? Why do you do the things you do? Let's start with that conversation. See, for people like me that were born into a family where my father had 12 wives and 26 children, I felt invisible. And I learned early in life that when you have money and you can buy people, I used to think it bought loyalty, but it really doesn't. All it does is it buys you that temporary euphoria of feeling special, it's a temporary feeling of being important to people. And a lot of us, because we don't love ourselves enough and we're looking for others to appreciate and love us, guess what? We tend to put ourselves on the bottom of the list to do everything. Today, I sat around looking at myself while I was meditating, and I asked myself the ultimate question. What is it about me that makes people that want to 419 emotionally, mentally, financially? What is it about me that attracts me to them or them to me? See, these are hard questions we have to ask ourselves, because at the end of the day, we have to learn to be accountable for our choices. Somebody can come to me and say, hey, Moji, oh, can you borrow me $10,000 or $1, or even 1 penny? It's up to me to say yes. I'm not obligated. Even if it's my parents or my children, I've had to say no to my children. If you're a parent, you know that saying yes to everything your children want is not healthy. You know that. So if you know that saying yes to everything your children want is not healthy, why then would you say yes to everything somebody else wants that has nothing to do with you? I have done that for many, many years, and I see that it got me nowhere. 4 years ago, I started the journey of the power of no, the power of saying no. It was hard. See, the power of saying no. This year, was it last year? Last year, 2021. No, it might be this year. I have a collection of friends that are local champions, we call them. You know, a particular social media rock star had inboxed me for a couple of dollars, and I'm sorry, we're building an African village. I can't really do that. You want to go to Nigeria? Right now is not a good time. And I said no. But that no cost me a lot, because I was shredded all over social media. One person will pick me up. I was shredded for saying it's not okay for married LGBTQ people to cheat on their partners because it shows lack of integrity. And please do not encourage LGBTQ people, because the person is heterosexual, to cheat on their partners and stay in marriages that are not fulfilling. And I got shredded for about 2 or 3 weeks, almost 3 weeks. Gay people, straight people, name it, they were just shredding me on social media all over the place, and it hurt. But I learned something from it. Because when we start to say no, we will lose friends. And I say this because your true friends understand your boundaries, right? When we start to say no, we'll lose people that we thought were family, and we'll lose people that we thought were best friends, because we're now respecting and honoring ourselves. Maya Angelou once said, be afraid to trust a person that has no clothing, but comes to you and tells you they will give you some clothing. Because if that person loves themselves, they would have clothing on their back. She also, quote, I do not trust anyone that says I love you, but they show no signs of loving themselves, end quote. I read a lot of books. Maya Angelou, Morrison, name it. Tony Robbins. The first rule of self-actualization is self-love. That's the first rule of self-actualization. When we are not able to when we do not self-actualize, guess what happens? Guess what happens? When we don't love ourselves, when we don't put boundaries around ourselves, when we don't say no to the things that does not feed our souls, we become resentful, we become hateful, we become angry all the time. And you're wondering, why is she angry? She seems like such a nice person. She's angry because she's not doing the things that feeds her soul. Or he's not doing the things that feeds his soul. And a lot of times we need to start to remember, we forget that we ourselves must nurture ourselves. Nobody is going to save you. Nobody is supposed to be your hero. You're supposed to be your own hero. You can have mentors, but your mentors are not God. We forget that God gave us everything we need, but he also gave us the power of choice. See, a lot of us are used to be Christians or are Christians, and you guys go to church where you're being taught to be selfless. Even Jesus Christ, if you think about it, Jesus Christ himself did not, I repeat, Jesus Christ himself did not have 1,000 disciples. Jesus Christ only had how many disciples? Think about it. Jesus Christ only had maybe, at the very most, maybe 12 disciples and maybe 4 friends, which included Mary Magdalene and all the other people, right? So if Jesus Christ, the guy that a lot of us are following, and a lot of us use as our guide to a lot of things, yeah? If Jesus Christ did that, when he shows up at an event, he doesn't save all of them. He saves the few that he can save. But yet a lot of people are running around thinking, oh my God, I have to save the world. But you're not saving yourself. When you get on a plane anywhere in the world, the first thing that the air hostesses say is, good afternoon, this is whatever, I don't know how to do it, but yeah, I've traveled enough time. And they go through the protocols in case there's an accident. They go through the protocols in case there's a problem, right? They tell you and I, when there's a problem, if there's any turbulence and the air mask falls down, make sure you put it on yourself first before you put it even on your child, let alone strangers. But we don't do that. We grew up in a country where we've been taught to be selfless. We grew up in a society where we've been taught to be selfless. Now think about the word selfless. You become less. I've been thinking about that a lot, and I decided about a year ago, I'm going to become self-full. For those of you guys that have known me for over 4 years, you will remember how I used to jump. I'll see somebody post my child and I'll jump. My husband needs, I'll jump. This one needs, I'll jump. If you're LGBTQ in the past and you come into my inbox for anything, I will not eat and send the money to them. Until I ran into a few people about 3 years ago that I was mentoring. And I was trying to get them educated. And my only request when I take somebody on into the African LGBTQ Guardian Angel program is that they must go to school. They must get a trade. They must do something that will enable them to make money. This young man was in the program. He lived at home. He called me one day, Auntie Moji, my parents are about to kill me. Oh my God, I need to get out of here. And I'm like, okay, didn't ask any questions, didn't say nothing. Put on my cape, Captain Save a Hole. Went to my wife and said, we need to help this kid. We put him up in a hotel for a week. We gave him pocket money. A day after we sent him the money, he's on Facebook posting a slice of cake, red velvet cake. He paid 5,000 naira for. I'm not saying people shouldn't pay whatever they want to pay, but honey, you can't be living on somebody else's dime and be showing off and be doing yanga on social media, which is half these people you see flaunting and half of them don't have a pot to piss in. They're living off of other people. And when I said to him, you shouldn't be doing this, he said to me, I didn't ask you for help. I volunteered. See, a lot of life lessons people are supposed to learn, we don't let them learn it, so they never grow. A person that's been making wrong choices of their life, a person that's been doing 419, that's been doing this, and is now like 45 or 50, and we continue to try to save them, they will never learn. When my ex did not pay me $95,000 in child support and I did not let him go to jail, bad move. Bad move. Because that same person will continuously go around and make babies because there's no recourse. We have to become accountable for our lives by choosing to say no to the things that do not empower us, feed our soul. Because if you're happy being people's doormat, shuku to you. If you're happy giving everything you have to others, shuku to you. As long as it brings you value. But the problem is that a lot of us are not thinking things through. We're not. We are not thinking things through. Hello, Susie. Hello, Ola. We are not thinking things through. We are not. You know, we are not. Oladeo here says, awesome topic as usual, Moji Sola. Moji, now you have caused this childhood song to loop endlessly in my head. Wherever you go, go, go. Whatever you see, do not say yes when you mean to say no. Thank you. See, a lot of times we mean to say no. I had a young lady, like I was telling before, come to me a few days ago. Her mother had asked her to buy her a home, even though she is in America making $30,000 a year. And she's putting herself through college so that she can empower herself. But because Mama Shukura, her mother's friend, just bought her mom a home, her mother called her to send her 60 million naira. Ibolo Tiferi, where is she supposed to get it from? She's making 30,000 a year. 60 million naira is $100,000. Imagine this girl sending the 30,000 she earns a year. Where is she going to live? Under the bridge? What is she going to eat? How is she going to survive? What about the education that will propel her to the next level? And she was feeling bad. She's like, maybe when I get my tax refund, I should send it to her. I'm like, no, absolutely not. I have done that. I have built homes for my family that I will never step foot on. I have continuously support my mom in Nigeria because that's my duty. But I'm no longer going to inconvenience myself, my children, my wife, my family to make others happy. Because we've been told to be selfless, be self-full. The same people you're sending money to in Nigeria, the same people that will be laughing at you because you don't own a house in America, I said to her. Now, what I will do though, is when I say no, I would say no. And I would explain to my mom that when I'm able to graduate, get a better job, I will definitely buy you a home. There's no law that says you have to give anybody a Bentley. There's no law. I know people on this same social media that are jumping up and down, posting all this fabulous lifestyle. And I know the people that are supporting them, paying for their lifestyles. I know the people that are helping them build their businesses. Time, money, mental strength is being given to people that take advantage of others for no reason. Look, call me mean if you want to, but my new thing is, don't call me and tell me you can't pay your child's school fees, because I am not calling anybody to say I want to pay child school fees. He sits in America and I pick the school that my child and I can afford, or my wife or my family and I can afford. That's where we send our son. So if you're in Nigeria and you're making 50,000, let's even say you're making 100,000 naira a year, why is your child going to school that costs 500,000 a year? Why? Because everybody else is going to come and donate money. What a lot of our people do, we have a country of a lot of beggars. Even people that have money, that claim to have money, and they show you Bentleys and Mercedes Benzes and lie. Or fege super. When you look at the way Nigerians live their lifestyles, or a lot of people live their life, Ruby, I'm telling you, you will think that they're doing great things. And Instagram is one of those things that you don't even believe anything. People will take pictures out of or in front of other people's cars and post it. They won't say it's theirs, but when people are saying, "Is this your car?" they will like, no, they won't say. They'll just say, they'll laugh. We all have to start to ask ourselves, Susie, we have to ask ourselves, what service are we doing, are we rendering to people when we're enabling them? Are we really truly empowering people when we say yes to everything? Are we honoring ourselves by inconveniencing ourselves to make others happy? I told this story earlier about how I now, after so many years, I had an iPhone 6 up until last week. All my mates have amazing phones. But because people will inbox me, and because yes, I'm going to admit something today. I thought I was cured of low self-esteem. I really did. I work 7 days a week. My wife and I own Solar Wilson Village in Texas. It's an Airbnb. I clean the rooms myself. I do construction, sheetrock painting, whatever I have to do. And thank God I'm able to do those things. And when people call me from their iPhone 12, listen, I was using an iPhone 6, working 7 days a week, and people in Nigeria will call me from their iPhone 12 to give them money. And I'll give it. Instead of saying, cut your coat according to your size, cut your fabric according to your size. If you are too big for the fabric, lose some weight. I've been on a diet for 10 years? 10 years, up and down, yo-yo. And then 2 years ago, I decided to do a lifestyle change. Cut down on the amala, cut down on the eba, cut down on the rice. Because my body cannot hold this much weight. And you're probably looking at me and saying, oh my God, you're not fat. For a person that used to be 119, to be 170, to be 175, that's fat. My back hurts, everything hurts. Menopause does not help it either. Menopause does not help it either. You have to make sure that you empower yourself, you honor yourself. Why would I pick up the phone because somebody made a post yesterday about how, they've been really going through a rough time? Instead of me editing my own video, even if I don't know how to, my wife does, my son does, but I think, I'm what? God? See, sometimes people are made to go through hell. I've been through hell. I'm back. I have. I've been through hell. At one point, I lost everything. Some things I didn't lose. Like I sold my car, 2008 when the market fell. I sold my cars. I did. And I bought a bicycle. See, that period of my life was a very difficult period. I could have had somebody buy me a car. I had somebody offer me a Mercedes Benz, and I said no. Because my integrity was intact. My moral compass was not broken. Because I know a Nigerian man that wants to spend $25,000 on a car for somebody who's never seen, honey, you're going to belong to that person. And I'm a lesbian woman. So where are we going to start? I just came out 10 years ago. Where are we going to start? So I paid the price to be where I am. We do not allow a lot of people to pay the price to grow. We don't allow a lot of people the opportunity to become wise because we love the applause. I know I do. And the more that you become self-full, not arrogant, not mean, not barbaric, self-full, the more you start to love yourself, the more you start to respect yourself, the more you will say no to the things that do not make sense, to the things that do not add value to your life, to the things that do not add value to society. I have been doing this show for 7 years. Yes. At one point, I became exhausted. I have never monetized my shows. And while in therapy, I was asked, why don't you monetize your shows? My excuse was, I don't want to sell my voice. That's what I've always said. And the woman said to me, you need to go and rethink that. Is it that you don't want to sell your voice? Or is it that you don't value your voice? Wow. I was offered a TV show in Nigeria that I could film from here. But the clause was I was not allowed to say I am gay. I was not allowed to talk about my wife. And I chose not to do that show because it would be a dishonor to my wife. I choose a lot of things that do not honor other people, but I don't choose what honors me. So the moment I started to put up boundaries, little by little, because now Moji is loving herself, right? I no longer need 10,000 views to feel good about my shows. If it's 10 people, as long as one person gets value out of it, and I get value out of the conversation, I am good, right? The more we start to love ourselves, the more we start to love our life, the more we start to allow ourselves and give ourselves the permission to be okay and stop feeling guilty that some people are still in Nigeria. Honey, I know what I went through to stay in this country. I know what I went through to be able to live an authentic life. I had to walk away from my fake life. In walking away from my fake life, I lost a lot of friends. I lost a family. If I can deprive myself of so much to become who I am today, why do I enable other people? Why do I actually handicap other people? Because at some point, even your kindness is a form of wickedness. Think about it. Even your kindness, that didn't even occur to me. That's something that just occurred to me right now. Even your kindness is a form of wickedness, because I have given money to homophobic people because I wanted to teach them a lesson. That was wickedness. A man that abused me and trolled me for 6 months came into my inbox one day, and it's like, oh, I'm really going through a hard time. My business is really down, and because of COVID, we're not really doing well. And my children. Come on, thing, Moji. What should I have said? No. I'm sorry. My gay money that's going to hell, because if I'm going to hell, my gay money is hell. I should not have given him the money, but I did what? I gave him the money. I gave him the money because it fed my soul. It fed my ego, not my soul. It fed my ego. Me that you call the abomination, now me you can't get money from now. It fed my ego. Once we start to try and calm down the ego, we'll realize that a lot of the things we do from a place of ego. See what I do here, the purpose is to enlighten and educate. What I do here, is for me to get value. I have Jay Sharp, who is a certified life coach, like I am a certified life coach. I have Johnny on the thread who contributes and chimes in. I have people that contribute to the conversation. So we are having an authentic conversation, and it's not just Moji going back and forth. I'm not just draining myself to feed others. It is so important, Jay says, to give ourselves permission to say no as needed. See, I do this show. Sometimes I don't feel like doing it because I'm drained, I'm mentally tapped, and I don't do it for a while. I used to do a show every day for 5 years. 5 years, every day, unfailingly. And I would get 5,000 views, 3,000 views, and I would be applauded. Until 2017, I had to reset my brain. When all these followers turned on me because I had the audacity to marry the love of my life as a lesbian woman. Think about it. The very people that were applauding me and clapping for me and when my life got real, they turned on me. I was shredded. Some people dragged me for weeks on end. Someone actually told me to go to the Verrazano Bridge and jump off the bridge. Kill myself, they told me. I was bullied and trolled for many, many weeks on end, all across the platforms. Thank God for God that gave me the strength to get up and continue. Because the person that told me to go kill myself must not have known that I have tried several times because I felt less than everybody else because I was gay. And those same people are trying to come back now. See, those same people, some of those same people are trying to come back now. The power of no. When they send me the friend request, I say no, delete and block. Because when you allow somebody that has broken you back into your life, you're just setting yourself up to be burnt alive. People don't change for you. They will change for themselves. It's like a woman whose husband cheated on her 5 times. That continues to say, oh my God, he's going to change. It's a fault of society. It's his friends. You blame everybody else but yourself for allowing that to happen to you. Because you do have a choice, unless you're happy being where you are. A lot of people are in relationships that are not working and you keep making yourself a doormat. Instead of you to say no. And I don't mean say no and walk out. I'm saying say no to your partner, say no to your wife, say no to your husband. If what they are proposing does not sit right with your soul. A lot of you don't allow your children to grow. A lot of us, we baby them. We do everything for them. We make their beds, we cook their foods, we do this and we do that. A lot of us that are mothers, we believe that our life is not worth anything without those children. We believe that everything must come first, must come after the children. I beg to differ. I'm 56 years old. I have 4 children, and then I call her adopted. She's not really adopted. She's my niece that I took under my wing. Let me tell you, the power of no. Once I started to get on this journey of the power of no, I started to see that when I cook and I don't feed myself and I allow my children to have seconds and thirds, and that's just an analogy, by the way, and I go hungry, the next day I'm lethargic, I'm tired, I'm not mentally sharp, which now affects everything around me, which now affects them. Put the oxygen on yourself first. When there is problems, put the oxygen on yourself first. I'm not saying don't do for your children. I'm saying remember that your children have a choice to accept the education, the training, the everything that you've given them. And at 18 in America, most children are now independent contractors. Children, I couldn't even call my son's doctor. I tried to call for our son's medical records at the doctor's office, but because he's 18, they told me I had to tell him to call. This is the hospital that I gave birth to him in. This is a hospital that as of one day before his birthday, I had made a doctor's appointment. We have to start to honor ourselves. We have to start to understand that we are worthy of love. We are worthy of respect. And our children are sent to us by the universe to guide them to their promised land, to guide them to make better choices, to guide them, not to do it for them, because how do they exercise that emotional intelligence muscle when we do everything? When we literally make all the choices for them. How do they go out into the world as independent, confident, compassionate, empathetic human beings? We really need to understand that. We are not God. Yes, for you Christians, I believe in God. I no longer call myself a Christian, but I go to church. I call myself a humanist. I follow in the steps of Christ. What would Jesus Christ do? We have to start to understand that until we honor ourselves. Even Jesus Christ honored himself. When he went into the synagogue, allegedly his father's house, and he saw all these people that were selling jagbajantis in his father's house, he threw them out. That's Jesus Christ, the Son of God. And if you believe that because you give things to people and you give them money and you give them everything that you have and you go, because you go without, because you are selfless. A selfless person does not deserve to be respected because they don't respect themselves. That's what I learned from my walk. Young people, I'm 56 years old, where I sit in my life, a lot of the people that I engage with, there would be absolutely no way for them to get into my space. I used to think it was humility to talk to everybody. You can be nice to people. I can say hello to everybody. I don't have to let them into my space. If I know somebody is a drainer of energy, or their energy or the spirit they carry in them is negative, I don't have to allow them into my space. The power of no. When we say no to things that don't align with our purpose, that don't align with our spirit, when we say no to the things that do not align with where we're going in life, hey, it gives us permission and the opportunity to do the things that does align with our spirit. 2 years ago, I decided to start walking on the power of no, because I stopped taking every Tom, Dick, and Harry's phone call, because I stopped taking everybody's problems on my head, even though I still was carrying a lot of people on my shoulders. It gave me the opportunity to be able to create an accessory line. When in the past, I'll be too busy on the phone talking people off the ledge that they themselves put themselves on. Can you imagine you're standing there, a guy gets in his car, knows he doesn't have any gas, and decides to drive to Cotonou. Oga, you knew you didn't have gas. Why didn't you put gas? If you know you didn't have enough money for the gas that you have in the car, why didn't you stay till you got the money? But you watch them do all this stuff and then they get stuck and then they call you. The lesson they're supposed to learn along that journey, they'll never learn it because we continue to bail them out. Go to Nigeria and see how people live. Go to Nigeria and see how people live. The people I hire in Nigeria to do work for me have drivers, maids, nannies, name it. I have a guy that works. He has 4 cars sitting in the driveway and he has 2 drivers. Go figure. There's another friend that lives in a fancy house in Victoria Island that's not paying bills because he lives with somebody else. But every other day, Moji or I have a problem. I can't do this. I can't do that. And me too. I'll jump like Dundee. Pay. Take this. Here, take that. Why? Because it used to make me feel good for that moment. And then I feel bad because I have sacrificed what my children and my family needs for somebody else that doesn't even appreciate it. Now, you give them the money because they didn't work for it. They'll just spend it yaffing yaffing. You give some of these people 2 million naira today. In 30 days, they'll come back and ask for more because they didn't make it. Johnny says sometimes society rushes us. Yes, they do. Yes, they do. I come first before anybody else. Shuku to you, Anikade. It took me a long time to get here. I used to say my children and my life, my children and my life. When push came to shove, one son went to live with his dad because he was not willing to adhere by my strict rules. And the other daughter is gone, doing her own thing. That's the prayer. I mean, we all pray for our kids to be independent, right? But, we have to remember, and one of the things that started me on this journey, honestly, was another one of my daughters in the same house. I needed to pay the rent. I had a check because I'm a realtor. My checks are not like every week or every other week. A big check come in a couple of days, and the rent was due on, I think it's Saturday or something, and I was to pick up my check on Monday. And I went to her. That was during what I call my Job moment. Life lessons don't come cheaper. Problem is that we pay the price to learn these lessons, but we don't put them into action, right? So I went to my daughter and I was short. The rent was $2,300 because we lived in New York. And I went to my daughter and I said, would you be kind enough to just borrow me? Because she had a job as well. She graduated to university. Can you just borrow me $300? She said, Mommy, I have money, but I have my own bills to pay. I don't have money for you. I'm like, what? We live in the same house. I'm all upset. And then when I got back to my room, I realized this child has watched me be selfless for so many years that she has taken a chapter from my book of life to empower herself. Today, she's one. I tell her, I said, you're one of my heroes, because that is what true self-love is. Not only did I take that lesson of I don't have for you, I have for me, but it's just enough to pay my bills, and I don't want to end up. I mean, when you think about it, in America, we all have bills. If you take the money for your bill to pay Nigeria so that they can go and eat at a restaurant, so they can do this, they can do that, your credit gets ruined. You cannot you can't buy a house. You can't get insurance. You can't get so much because your credit is ruined while you're trying really, really hard to please other people so they can stroke your ego. The power of no is priceless. We have to give ourselves permission to say no. Oh my God, I knew you were going to go there. Omowara's journey says, because we're living someone else's life, we are allowed other people to influence or determine our choices. We are trying to please their expectations. Social pressure is deceiving. We all become prey without noticing it. Before we realize we lost control of our lives, we end up envying how other people live. We can only see the greener grass. Ours is never good enough. To regain that passion for the life you want, you must recover ownership of your choices. Big shuku to you. See, I'm a realist. I've always shown people when things are good. I've always shown people when things are bad. Last 2 years or 3 years, when I was going through the child issues with my children, because I'm now married to a woman, and lesbian relationships are not well respected all across the board. Because if I'd married a man, half the stuff my other son did, he would never have done. Half the stuff that the family did, they wouldn't do. And the way they disrespect my wife, it wouldn't happen. Misogyny enters it because we're lesbians. So giving ourselves, see, when we are not living an authentic life as well, and we're not like, if you're in the closet because of this, because of that, closet is not just for sexuality. You can be in a financial closet where you're broke, but you're pretending to be rich. So you have to cover up your tracks and stuff. unlike me, when I was broke, I talked about it on social media, because at the end of the day, it's truly owning my truth. In owning my truth is how I became who I am today. In owning my truth is how I could attract a woman like my wife. In owning my truth is how I could do this show. Because there's no authenticity when you don't come to the table with truth. I used to do breakfast emoji because I wasn't really giving my all. Then I switched it to authentic conversations emoji, because I'm not going to talk unless I can have authentic conversations. There's been a lot of topics that people will bring to me, and I ask them, do you mind if I share your story? And they say no, and I drop it. Because if I don't have a reference point and I've never walked in their shoes, what's the point, right? I can't tell a real story. I can't really bring forth without having something to reference. So when we're not living our authentic selves, we forever look for others to validate us. When we actually own who we are, we become empowered, we become enlightened, we become aware of the God in us. And when we honor the God in us, we start to honor ourselves. When we honor ourselves, we start to honor the God in us. See, God gave us all a choice. He gave us the power of choice. Because I've sat down a lot of times and I've argued with God. Why would you put me in this situation? Why? You already know where I'm going. Just show it to me. Just tell it to me. I've had tons of conversations with God. But that power of choice is what tells everyone, including God, if you're growing or you're staying the same. It's hard to say no to people. It's one of the hardest. It's so easy for me to say yes. Well, I'm one of those people that I love to helping, but there's degrees of helping. So I created Authentic Transformations about a year ago, because I've been coaching people for many years, real estate, personal, relationship. But I realized that when people don't pay for the information, even if it's 5 pennies, if they don't pay 5 pennies, something for what you're giving them, they don't value it and they do not take action on your words. But when they pay for your service, no matter how small it is, they value it and they respect it. So I started to charge people. And I saw that my phone rang a lot less. But because I started to value myself, and my phone stopped ringing like every 5 minutes with people looking for free advice that they're not going to do anything with anyways. The people that saw value in what I bring to the table, because what I do is, I do it according to your income. If you make, whatever you make is how I charge you. It's a sliding scale. And half the time I tell them to donate to this charity or donate to that charity anyways. But you got to pay something. Everything comes with a price. But when we enable people, when we give people, when we allow people to ride on our coattails, guess what happens when somebody steps on your coattail or skirt? The skirt rips and you get pulled backwards. I think it's time that we all start to value ourselves. I think it's time that we truly start to respect ourselves. Society wants us all to be selfless. I come to you today and I ask you to become self-full. Because being self-full and allowing your cup to run over, that's the only time that you can truly, really live a full, purposeful, fulfilling life. You can't give from empty. You'll turn the cup over and there'll be nothing for you. Many of us have done that for many years, and it's time we stop that. I am on that path. I've been on that path for 2 years, and I'm so proud of myself. Because in that 2 years, I have opened up a business. Actually, I've opened 2 businesses with my wife. Because the time and energy I used to support emotional vampires, financial vampires, emotional and mental 419ers, and I will use it to build my family. You got to start to love yourself, folks. And loving yourself does not make you mean. It doesn't mean you have to be condescending. It doesn't mean it doesn't. What makes you all of those things are giving from empty, being selfless. Now, when I give to somebody that I really want to give to, it brings me joy. It doesn't bring me angst. It doesn't bring me anxiety. It doesn't make me angry. It doesn't make me complain and whine. But when I give to somebody I don't want to give to, that I know I should say no to, then I become angry. Then I become resentful. Then I become joyless. And all that now bleeds into my home. Even my wife now knows. I went to my wife about a month ago and I said, you know what? If I ever come to you and say, can we do something, and you don't want to do it, or your spirit kicks against it, just say no. But when I went to her the other day and I said, can we go watch a movie? And she was like, oh, I'm tired. I got upset. But she said, no, I'm tired. She honored herself. And a lot of times when we're in relationships, we don't honor ourselves. I'm not saying you shouldn't negotiate and compromise, because for 2-3 years, that's what I preach. And I'm still saying you negotiate and compromise, but do not dishonor yourself. When my wife said I'm tired because she's been working all week and it's Friday, she also said, today I can't do it. How about we go another day? Love yourself enough to say no. Jay Sharp says, many of us think we are helping when we are in fact enabling. I have learned that enabling is helping a person in a way that fits their dysfunction. Helping is being there for someone in a way that does not support dysfunction. Hashtag power of no. That's my new hashtag, honey. Hashtag power of no. Empower, enable, and allow yourself to grow. Thank you, Jay. I appreciate you. Where are the rest of the viewers? I'm not talking about Bobrisky, Anike. I'm not talking about, who's shagging who. I'm talking about authentic transformations. Most people don't want to grow. They just want you to give them money. They don't want to grow. They want to see people that are suffering. If I start talking, remember I used to do all those crazy shows. I call them crazy. People like them. I would get 3, 4, 5, 10,000 views because of that. But it's not feeding my soul. So I no longer do that. Even if it's 5 people that watch this, I'm okay with it. If it's 5 people and we engage with each other and we talk to each other and we all grow and learn something from each other, I'm good. So, and Anika, don't forget, a lot of those people are the same people. I did unfriended 4,000 friends on my personal Facebook page. 4,000 friends. Actually, 4,200 and something, because I had 499. I deleted about 4,300 friends, because now I have about 800 and something friends on Facebook. And I don't call them friends. I call them Facebook friends. Because the mistake I made in the past was believing that because they're my Facebook friends and we talk off Facebook, we're actually friends. Not realizing that because you give to people does not make you their friend. Because you give them money, because you give them time, because you give them advice, does not make you their friend. That was a life lesson I learned when I got married. So 0 viewers, 1 viewer. I do this for Moji because it feeds my soul. And when it doesn't, when I have nothing to say, I sit down. I'm not a social influencer. I'm not looking to be Linda Ikeji. I'm not looking to be anybody else but Moji. And Moji has a purpose. Inclusion and diversity is my purpose. Authentic transformation is my purpose, not enabling. I don't need to make $10,000 a month from Facebook by doing stupid things and dragging people and talking crap about people. I'm not doing that because I have a life. I do have a life off of social media where I earn a damn good living by the grace of God. And yes, I said that because I am self-full, not self less. See, when you have receipts to bring to the table, right? When you have receipts to bring to the table, right? When you have receipts, it's not bragging. I was talking about, you know, somebody friend of mine and said, what has she done with her life? I put two out of the many I have. I put them on the table. I posted them on social media. Every year I take a different course. Last year I did sexual harassment certification course to prevent and to teach businesses how to teach. I teach businesses and their employees how to recognize what sexual harassment is. I have a certificate. Last year, I took an inclusion and diversity course from Cornell University last year at 56. I'm 56, I'm not 24. And every year, I take additional classes for my real estate. Every year. So you got to empower yourself, not allow people to make you feel less. I am who I am. I'm going to continue to show up, you know, in my authentic skin. Whoever likes it, likes it. When you're authentic, your tribe will find you. And people think to make an impact, you have to have 10,000 followers. You have to have 1 million followers. I'm on Cool House. I'll be Cool Clubhouse or whatever they call it. And I go into rooms with 1,000 people and I speak and people applaud me. On Cool House, Clubhouse, Cool House, whatever they call it, Clubhouse. If you're on Clubhouse, by the way, follow me. Let's have some great conversations. This Saturday, I have an amazing conversation on Clubhouse about how homosexuality actually affects negatively the heterosexual community. It's going to be a lot of fun. Bottom line is, at the end of the day, we need to empower, stop enabling ourselves. We need to continue to focus on our purpose and our legacy, because at 56, I'm beginning to think, what do I want to leave this world with? You got to start thinking about your legacy, folks. It's not how many Louis Vuitton bags I have. It's not how many Jimmy Choo shoes I have. The older I get, Seth, I have tons of shoes. The older I get, I find that my back hurts. I had a flashing episode on the show earlier before the Wi-Fi shut down because we had an outage in Houston. I mean, it's crazy. The older I get, I look around me and everything, material things are becoming less. I bring more value to love of myself, love of my family, and love of friends, even Ayomide the dog. I bring value to traveling, living my authentic life. That makes sense. And helping to build other people, but not people that don't meet me halfway. I no longer hang with people or do anything with people that don't meet me halfway. Today, I bought 7 pieces of clothing from somebody for the shop we're building. I had it sent to somebody else that was supposed to be part of my team. And for a month, this somebody did not go pick up the stuff. But yet they will call me for what they need, how they need, and I will do it. See, for me, in this day and age, I'm 56. I could die any day now. So I have to live in my truth. And I advise all of you guys to live in your truth very early in life, because I was in the closet for the majority of my life. I suffered from low self-esteem, where I allowed everybody else to tell me who I am, what I should do, what I shouldn't do, and how I should do it. And after I came back, I became a lioness, but became a lioness that knew that she is she is the king of the jungle, not the lion. And I should never be afraid of hyenas. And hyenas will smile at you and try and bite you and eat you and talk about you behind your back. But it's what you allow into yourself and your spirit and your space that matters. Jay Sharp says, Mojisola Wilson, I love the fact that you're focusing on the quality of your show as opposed to the quantity. I thank you, my sister. We have to all understand that we have value to bring to the table. We have a lot to bring to the table. It might not be everybody's table. It might be the table of 5 people. It's a quality, not the quantity. I started hashtagging when I got married, 2017. Quality over quantity, 3 years ago. or 4 years ago now, however long ago, 2017. And now the shows I do feeds me and hopefully one or two people. The power of no is what allowed me to sit here. The power of no is what allowed me to build 2 businesses in a year that everybody else is screaming, pandemic, pandemic. See, when you're busy running because your ego is being stroked, you don't see the opportunities that come your way. You don't. You don't, because you're flustered and you're running around and everything is crazy. You don't have time for your partners. You don't have time for your children. You don't have time to do anything for yourself. And they will continue to come back till they suck you dry. The power of no. Go to YouTube, Google it. Go to Google it. There are books that I will recommend. But let me tell you, once you start saying no to the things that don't align with your core, once you start saying no to the things that don't align with your journey, once you start saying no to the things that don't align with your purpose. Somebody told me I said to somebody, I want to start speaking. I want to start speaking for a living, right? Because I'm getting older and I just want to share my wisdom. And then she called me and said, can you come and speak about cooking? I'm like, why? Because why? I like to cook, but that's not my purpose. It has to align with my purpose. I said no. And because I said no, less than 4 days later, an organization called me to talk about inclusion and diversity in a church for the same day. If I had said no to cooking, I've been working for 12 years on social media now to promote inclusion and diversity. And at 56, when I should be able to stand up and step into that space, I would have been talking about cooking and lost the opportunity to talk about inclusion and diversity, which is actually my mission. So the power of no is going to be hard, but we all can attain it. But let me tell you something, everything comes with a price. And the moment you start saying no to your friends, no, I'm not picking you up. No, I'm not sitting with your baby kid. No, I'm not babysitting your kid so you can go to an Owambe party all night. No, no, no. You will lose a lot of friends. You will lose followers. You will lose a lot. But you will be so happy. You will glow like solid gold because you're honoring yourself. My name is Mojisola Wilson. I thank you, Anike. I thank you, Johnny. I thank you, Jay. I thank everybody that's been here. There was another gentleman that was contributing. Wale Fatumbi. Thank you so much for joining me. Time is the most precious thing that we have. Time. Nobody can gift it to you. Nobody can buy it. And you definitely cannot replace it. So value your time. Say no when it does not sit with you to say yes. Say no when you mean to say no, and say yes when you mean to say yes. You will become much happier. You will become more fulfilled. A lot of things will definitely, I assure you, go your way because you have learned how to love yourself. My name is Mojisola Wilson. I am grateful for your time. Thank you so much for joining me. Namaste. I'll see you later. Now take a deep breath. Hold it for 30 seconds. Blow out the bad energy. Take another deep breath. Hold it. Count to 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Blow it out. Thank you for joining me. It's been an amazing show. Namaste. Bye, guys.